Walk into any grocery store and you will find an entire wall dedicated to yogurt, but is any of it actually good for you? Most people grab yogurt thinking it is a health food, but the label on the back tells a very different story. Yogurt has been around for thousands of years, but what we buy today barely resembles what our ancestors actually ate. The story of yogurt starts at least 7,000 to 8,000 years ago when people in Central Asia accidentally discovered that stored milk turned thick and sour on its own. That accidental fermentation created something genuinely nutritious, full of protein and live bacteria that supported gut health. Real yogurt is made by adding just 2 bacterial cultures to milk and letting them ferment the lactose into lactic acid. The process is surprisingly simple. Warm milk to the right temperature, add the bacteria, and wait several hours for the magic to happen. Traditional yogurt naturally thickens through fermentation alone, no thickeners, no gums, nothing added at all. Plain whole milk yogurt delivers roughly 10 grams of protein per cup, making it one of the most efficient protein sources in the dairy section. The live cultures in real yogurt have been linked in multiple studies to improve digestion and a more diverse gut microbiome. Research published in journals like Gut and Nutrients consistently shows that fermented dairy products support gut health better than unfermented alternatives. A plain whole milk yogurt label is clean, natural sugar from lactose, real protein, calcium, and live bacteria with nothing else hiding inside. A single serving of yogurt can cover nearly a third of your daily calcium needs, which is essential for bone density throughout your life. Fermentation actually breaks down much of the lactose in milk, making yogurt easier to digest for many people who are lactose sensitive. For generations across the Middle East, South Asia, and the Balkans, plain yogurt was simply part of the daily diet, no marketing needed. When yogurt arrived in American supermarkets in the 1950s, most consumers had never tasted it, and the industry had to find a way to make it appealing. Food companies quickly realized that adding fruit and sugar transformed a tangy, unfamiliar product into something American consumers actually wanted to eat. By the 1970s, fruit on the bottom yogurt was everywhere, and the sugar content quietly climbed with each new product launch. The packaging was designed to feel healthy, with words like natural and light printed prominently on containers full of added sugar. Some of the most popular flavored yogurt brands on the market today contain up to 26 grams of sugar per small serving. A standard 6-ounce strawberry-flavored yogurt can contain more added sugar than 6 Oreo cookies, according to nutrition data from the USDA. Scroll past the first few ingredients, and many flavored yogurts reveal thickeners, artificial dyes, and corn-derived sweeteners hiding behind the fruit branding. Carrageenan and modified starch are common thickeners added to low-fat yogurts to mimic the creamy texture that was removed along with the fat. When manufacturers remove fat from yogurt, the texture becomes thin and unappealing, so they add gums and starches to recreate the richness. Low-fat yogurt is often one of the most misleading products in the dairy aisle because removing fat usually means adding sugar to compensate for lost flavor. Greek yogurt exploded in popularity around 2007, and it genuinely earned its reputation, at least in its original form. Traditional Greek yogurt is strained to remove whey, which concentrates the protein to nearly 3 times that of regular yogurt. At its best, Greek yogurt is one of the cleanest processed foods you can buy. Just milk and bacteria, nothing more. But as demand grew, many brands found a cheaper shortcut. Instead of straining, they add milk protein concentrate and cornstarch to regular yogurt. Greek-style yogurt, with that hyphen, is not the same as Greek yogurt. It is regular yogurt thickened with additives to look and feel like the real thing. The difference between Greek yogurt and Greek-style yogurt is not obvious on the front label, but it is very clear when you read the back. Even many Greek yogurt products have been flavored and sweetened to the point where the protein advantage is undermined by a significant sugar load. Buying plain Greek yogurt and adding your own fruit gives you control over the sugar content while keeping all the protein and probiotic benefits. The North American Greek yogurt market grew from near zero to nearly $4 billion by 2023. Growing so fast, that rapid growth meant quality control became harder, and the gap between traditional strained yogurt and the industrial version quietly widened. In the 1980s, the United States government and food industry launched a campaign that told Americans fat was the enemy of good health. Food companies responded by stripping fat from everything, including yogurt, and labeling the result as the smarter, healthier choice. The fat-free version often has more sugar than the full-fat original because sugar is used to replace the flavor and satisfaction that fat naturally provides. A 2016 meta-analysis in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found no significant association between full-fat dairy consumption. Fat actually slows down sugar absorption, meaning full-fat yogurt may produce a more stable blood sugar response than the low-fat sweetened version. Some of the most prominently health-labeled yogurts on the market contain more sugar per serving than a standard chocolate chip cookie. Research on satiety consistently shows that fat in dairy products promotes a longer feeling of fullness compared to low-fat, high-sugar alternatives. Nutritionists increasingly recommend choosing plain full-fat yogurt over flavored low-fat versions, specifically because of the sugar content difference.
The word probiotic has become one of the most powerful marketing terms in the food industry. But it does not always mean what you think. Live bacterial cultures are fragile. They can be destroyed by excessive heat during manufacturing or by storage conditions that are too warm.
Some yogurt products are heat-treated after fermentation to extend shelf life, a process that kills the very live cultures the label was advertising. Made with live cultures and contains live cultures are two very different claims. The distinction is often buried in fine print. The International Dairy Foods Association operates a voluntary live and active cultures seal requiring at least cultures seal. Even in properly stored yogurt, the count of live cultures can decline significantly between the day it was made and the day you actually eat it. True probiotic benefits in food require specific, well-studied bacterial strains at effective doses, not just any live culture listed on a label. A plain store-brand yogurt with live active cultures may deliver similar benefits to a premium probiotic labeled product at 3 times the price. Most research supporting probiotic health claims is strain-specific, meaning benefits found for one bacterial strain do not automatically apply to others. At eye level for toddlers, the bottom shelf of the yogurt aisle is a masterclass in marketing sugary products to the youngest consumers. A single yogurt tube marketed for toddlers can contain 10 grams of sugar, which is nearly 40% of the recommended daily limit for a young child. The U.S. Dietary Guidelines for Americans state that children under the age of 2 should consume no added sugar at all, yet most kids' yogurt products contain significant amounts. A plain yogurt with a few crushed strawberries mixed in contains only natural sugar and delivers far more nutritional value than the packaged kids version. Research in pediatric nutrition shows that early repeated exposure to sweet flavors shapes long-term taste preferences and can increase cravings for sugar later in life. When sugar appears as the second ingredient on a toddler food product, it means the product contains more sugar than any other single added component. Pediatric dietitians consistently advise parents that yogurt is a healthy food for children when it is plain, and the sweet flavors come from real fruit added at home. Adding a mashed ripe banana to plain yogurt naturally sweetens it with fiber and nutrients while keeping added sugar at 0. The plant-based yogurt market has exploded in recent years, but these products come with their own set of nutritional trade-offs worth understanding. Most plant-based yogurts are dramatically lower in protein than dairy versions. Coconut yogurt, for example, typically contains less than 1 gram of protein per serving. The ingredient list of a typical almond yogurt reveals that almonds are a minor component, with starches and gums doing most of the texture work. Without the natural protein matrix of dairy, plant-based yogurts rely heavily on starches and thickeners to create a texture that resembles the real thing. Soy-based yogurt is the closest plant-based option to dairy in terms of protein content, typically offering around 6 grams per serving. The calcium in plant-based yogurt is almost always added rather than naturally occurring. For people who genuinely cannot consume dairy, soy-based yogurt is the most nutritionally complete alternative based on current evidence. Reading a yogurt label well comes down to 4 key things: the serving size, total sugar, added sugar, and the first 5 ingredients. Added sugars became a required line on U.S. nutrition labels in 2018, and it is the single most useful number when comparing yogurt products. Serving sizes on yogurt labels are sometimes set at less than what a person actually eats, making the calorie and sugar numbers appear lower than reality. The cleanest yogurt label you can find has just 2 ingredients: milk and live active cultures. Everything beyond that is something the manufacturer chose to add. Ingredients are listed in descending order by weight, so if sugar appears in the first 3 items, it is one of the dominant components of the product. A long ingredient list in a yogurt is almost always a sign of heavy processing, with each additive serving either a textural, visual, or shelf life function. Store-brand plain yogurts often have identical ingredient lists to premium price competitors, making them one of the best value choices in the dairy aisle. Look for the Live and Active Cultures seal, issued by the International Dairy Foods Association. The best yogurt formula is simple: plain, whole milk, the Live Cultures seal, and an ingredient list short enough to read in under 5 seconds.
A study from the Harvard School of Public Health found that regular yogurt consumption was associated with an 18% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
The gut microbiome research field, led in part by scientists at institutions
Like the Sonnenberg lab at Stanford, has linked fermented dairy to increased microbiome diversity. Multiple systematic reviews published since 2017 have found no compelling evidence, and the results suggest that dairy fat increases cardiovascular risk in healthy populations.
Short-term clinical trials have shown that daily consumption of yogurt with live cultures can measurably reduce certain inflammatory markers in the bloodstream. The broader category of fermented foods, which yogurt belongs to, has emerged as one of the most actively studied areas in nutritional immunology. It is worth noting that while the evidence for plain yogurt is strong, many specific probiotic health claims are still being studied and are not yet conclusively proven. The science strongly supports plain yogurt as part of a healthy diet. The science for many of the premium probiotic labeled products is far less settled. The simplest upgrade you can make at the grocery store is to buy plain yogurt and customize it yourself at home with real ingredients you control. Plain yogurt is one of the most versatile foods in the kitchen, and it pairs naturally with both sweet and savory flavors without any added sugar needed. Buying plain yogurt in a larger container is almost always cheaper per serving and gives you a product with fewer additives than the individual flavored cups. Simply switching from a flavored yogurt to plain yogurt once a day can reduce your weekly added sugar intake by more than 150 grams over a single month. Among all the options available, plain whole milk yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, and plain Skyr consistently rank as the most nutritionally complete choices. The yogurt paradox is actually easy to solve once you know what you are looking at. Ignore the front label and let the ingredient list make the decision for you. If you want to know what is really inside the foods lining your grocery store shelves, subscribe to Grocery Science and we will keep breaking it all down for you.